So, like millions of people all over the world, I have recently watched K-Pop Demon Hunters. Actually, by recently, I mean like 5 hours ago. I watched K-Pop Demon Hunters, and like millions of people all over the world, I frickin' loved it. I thought the animation was killer. I thought the music was fantastic. And yeah, I know, I'm a middle-aged redneck. I'm not supposed to be a K-pop stan, but I'm totally a K-pop stan. And honestly, I blame the guy I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about in this video for me being into K-pop and J-pop, and that's AJ Hartley. I was over at his house one time for a get-together, and he had music playing, and I'm like, hey, what's that? And he said, oh, that's Polka Dot Stingray. And I said, you're just making things up and putting words together that don't belong together. He said, no, it's a Japanese band. And I looked him up, and now Polka Dot Stingray is in heavy rotation on my Spotify playlists. I like K-pop and J-pop because I speak neither Korean nor Japanese, so I don't understand most of the lyrics, but it's all high energy, so it's easy for me to write while I'm listening to it, and I don't get distracted by the lyrics. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I want to talk about how K-Pop Demon Hunters is like Hideki Smith Demon Queller. So if you are a fan of K-Pop Demon Hunters, you should get out and get yourself a copy of AJ's book, Hideki Smith Demon Queller, that we published a year or so ago from Falstaff Books. Hideki Smith Demon Queller is the story of a Japanese-American boy living in a small town in North Carolina with a British expat father and a Japanese-American mother, and so far, none of this sounds anything like K-Pop Demon Hunters, right? Well, you're right, but here's where we're getting to the similarities. In K-Pop Demon Hunters, it's all about having the demons trapped away in another dimension, and because they ostensibly made this for kids, they don't call it hell, but it's hell. And their whole thing is to make fantastic music together, bring humanity together through music, and thus unite the world in happiness and lock the demons away forever. Well, Guima, I'm going to mispronounce a lot of things in this video, so sorry. Remember that part where I said I'm an old redneck? That's going to come into play there. But in K-Pop Demon Hunters, Guima is putting together a stealth group of operatives to come up and burst free and make sure that the demons can come up from hell and take over the world. Well, in Hideki Smith Demon Queller, Caleb Smith is the protagonist. He is, as described, a loser's loser, but one of his ancestors locked away all of these really terrible monsters from Japanese folklore, and they are trapped in a different dimension. And because some weird magical stuff happened, the barrier's breaking, and some of these monsters are coming out. So just like the girls in Huntrix have to band together to fight demons that escape and are torturing humanity, well, Hideki has to get together with his sister, who, like most siblings in high school, they kind of hate each other a lot of the time. I wouldn't know. There's a 16-year age gap between me and my closest sibling, so we were never in high school together. But anyway, you didn't care about that. What Hideki and his sister have to do is learn to work together to keep these demons from getting out, because their ancestor trapped them, but now the secret of all the magic is lost because it's hundreds of years later. So as things start getting loose, Caleb and his sister have to fight the monsters just like the girls in Huntrix have to fight the escaping demons. So you've got the theme of a great trapped evil and a group of slightly dysfunctional teens having to band together to keep the evil trapped. By the way, there are going to be hella spoilers in this video, so if you haven't watched K-Pop Demon Hunters, you should pause this video, go watch that, come back in like an hour and 45 minutes after you've squeed a little and decided whether or not you're Team Saja Boys or Team Huntrix, but we're all Team Derpy Tiger. And if you're not Team Derpy Tiger, how are we even friends? Then come back and watch the rest of this video because seriously, buku spoilers. Anyway, another big theme in K-pop Demon Hunters is that danger and evil often wears masks, and it often shows up where you least expect it. And that's the case in Hideki Smith Demon Queller as well. I'm not going to give spoilers for the book because the whole point of this video is to get you excited about K-pop Demon Hunters and then make you go buy the book that you will love if you love K-pop Demon Hunters. And if you've watched K-pop Demon Hunters, you love it. Well, I mean, I did. And I'm very much not the target demographic. But I loved it. It's fantastic. Incredibly well written. Great music. Anyway, so in Hideki Smith Demon Queller, there are bad guys hiding in plain sight. And in the sequel, Hideki Smith and the Omokade, which is coming out in August from Falstaff Books and will be available anywhere books are sold, that is way, way more true, and the evil hiding in plain sight, just like the demonic K-pop boy band, the Saja Boys. The most attractive things are often the most dangerous. So, just like the Saja Boys, the evil in Hideki Smith Demon Queller often hides itself as being very friendly, very attractive, very everything you want. So you got to look a little bit below the surface, baby, to find the evils. But the real core, the real key to the commonality between the movie and these books is that K-pop Demon Hunters is not a movie about fighting demons, and Hideki Smith Demon Queller is not a book about fighting monsters from Japanese folklore. They are both stories of self-acceptance and self-awareness. Rumi, the lead singer and protagonist of K-pop Demon Hunters, cannot fight the Saja Boys, cannot vanquish Gima until she reconciles her own half-demon heritage. She has to accept the patterns that are all displayed all over her body that mark her. Yeah, I get it. I have things all over my body that I paid a lot of money for that mark me. But even with that, back when I had a day job, I sometimes would go to job sites and have to wear long sleeves because at the time the only tattoo I had was here, actually right there. It's not this tattoo. I had a cover-up tattoo placed on the tattoo that back in a former life I had to cover up with long sleeves, but I had to hide that part of who I am. And in Hideki Smith Demon Queller, Caleb's mother has worked very diligently to hide her Japanese heritage. She has erased every element of Japanese culture from her life and the lives of her children. That's why he goes by Caleb instead of his middle name, Hideki. And just like Rumi has to accept her patterns, she has to accept her scars and her half-demon heritage to vanquish the evil. Caleb has to learn about his Japanese heritage and his family's lineage of demon quellers to be able to vanquish the monsters that are threatening his town. And that's the core of both of these stories, is that all the action is fantastic. In K-pop Demon Hunters, all the songs are great. In Hideki Smith, all of the character exploration is great. But at their core, these are stories about accepting yourself and becoming more than you were at the beginning of the story. Rumi cannot sing to her fullest until she accepts who she is, even though getting her patterns displayed makes her bandmates initially abandon her, showing who she really is, and her bandmates coming to understand who they really are, brings them tighter together and allows them to understand themselves and each other better, and then they can fight the great evil. Caleb comes to understand his heritage, his family history, his lineage, and takes on the name of Hideki so that he can fight the monsters and beat this terrible threat to his town. So if you love all of the things in K-pop Demon Hunters, you will really enjoy Hideki Smith Demon Queller. Unless, of course, you're only in it for the songs, because there's no singing in Hideki Smith Demon Queller. I suppose you can go over to AJ's channel, because it's got a lot of videos dedicated to BabyMetal. So you can go check that out. But please, if you've made it this far in the video, be sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell to get notified. And you can go to a link in the description to our Shopify. You can pick up Hideki Smith Demon Queller in paperback, hardcover, ebook. You can also pick it up in a brand new, released today, Japanese language edition, or a special hardcover bilingual edition with both the Japanese text and the English text. So head on over, pick those up, give them a read, and tell me how much you love them now that you are a big fan of K-pop Demon Hunters. And leave a note in the comments to tell me if you are Team Huntrix or Team Saja Boys, because of course we are all Team Derpy Tiger. Till next time, bye.